Namaskaram. For a society to prosper, good people should be venerated, should be supported. Goodness should be celebrated, good deeds should be celebrated, and people who do good for the society, they should receive all the support from the people. This is what Swami Vivekananda said. He was the one who loved India so much, Indians so much, and he wanted India to grow because of its rich heritage culture. He wanted that to be spread all over the world. He was the one who traveled the length and breadth of the country. In fact, there are three great men this country has produced who visualized the country as one, Akhand Bharat. Adi Shankara, Mahatma Gandhi, and Swami Vivekananda. We celebrate Swami Vivekananda's Jayanti as a National Youth Day. I think his 150th Jayanti was celebrated in 2013. And every year, this is observed as National Youth Day. And the slogan given this year, the central point this year is, it is all in the mind. It is all in the mind. If you want to achieve greatness, it is possible for everyone to achieve greatness through good deeds. It was in 1893, Swami Vivekananda, though very young, as a monk, he went to Chicago to address the world religious leaders. When his turn came to address the gathering, he started like this: brothers and sisters. There was evoked a huge emotion among the people, and they all stood up, and a standing ovation was given to Swami Vivekananda even before he could commence his actual address. That was the magnetic personality of Swami Vivekananda, and that was the image he created among people who were assembled there, and that paved the way for a continuous discourse on India's heritage, culture, and what India stands for. He traveled all over US and Europe, addressed the people and gave them the correct image of India. That India is a great country, not a country which is steeped in wrong beliefs, wrong notions. And he strongly believed the youth of the country, they are the ones who should lead and take the leadership, and they should be trained to assume leadership. In fact, he and Annie Besant, they were very close. In fact, it was Annie Besant who chose Tamil Nadu as her home. She came from Ireland and she established the Theosophical Society in Adyar in Chennai. And also, she spoke to the people at that time, again, gave them the notion of freedom. The society which was dormant, which was sleeping, and they were the ones who woke up the society and motivated the people to fight for freedom. In fact, in turn, she was also motivated by Swami Vivekananda's commitment to youth and how the youth should be encouraged to take a leadership role. And she established in 1914 the Young Men's Indian Association, which should serve as a platform. It's a political gymnasium so that the youngsters, they know about the issues in society, and at the same time they indulge in physical activity to strengthen their body, because a strong body and a strong mind are very important for the youth. And Swami Vivekananda also stressed the service aspect of one's life. Service to mankind is service to God. This is what he said wherever he preached, wherever he went and spoke to people. There are two gardeners in a big garden, and one who will tirelessly work whether the owner of the garden comes or not, wherever he is. The other gardener, whenever the owner comes, he will start working to impress the owner. This anecdote Swami Vivekananda used to quote, and he says, the whole world is a garden of God. It's God's garden. And irrespective whether you are being watched or otherwise, you should do your duty. You should serve. The one who serves selflessly without expecting anything in return, he is the one who will be richly rewarded. He will be very richly rewarded. So the whole world should be treated as a garden of God and we should serve. Samatva Aradhane Achutasya. In Vishnu Puranam it is said, Samatva Aradhane Achutasya. That is the one who treats everybody as one. A person who considers all as one without any barrier, without any distinction, he is the one who is very dear to me. That's what Lord Krishna says. So to find yourself, lose yourself in service of others. That's what Swami Vivekananda said. If you want to really find your own identity, then immerse yourself in service of others. So this is another very important teaching, the precept which Swami Vivekananda gave to us, because we find people are so selfish. People are not bothered about what is happening in society and they are totally impervious to various issues. That should not take place, and you should contribute to ensure greatness in society so that goodness grows. We have several wrong notions, superstitions. He was against it. Though he strongly believed in God and strongly believed in our Vedas, but he said, do not accept anything on its face value. If somebody teaches you something, do not accept it on face value, analyze it, and if it is acceptable to you, then you accept it. So this kind of inquiring mind is very important, and this is what he wanted the Indians and particularly youth to inculcate in themselves, this curiosity. Again, fearlessness is very, very important. Achaminmai. This is what Mahakavi Bharatiyar also stressed. Achamille, achamille, achamin badille. Because he found that Indians were very afraid, scared of the foreign yoke. He said, unless they are woken up and they fearlessly handle the issues, then it is not possible to attain freedom. So he said, truth and courage. The real God is truth, is the real God. So there is no God higher than truth. And he used to write one couplet of Gita, Klaibyam Masma Gamaha Partha, Naitatvai Upapadyate, Kshudram Hridaya Dhaurbalyam, Tyakta Uttishta Parantapa. It's a beautiful advice by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, who is in the battlefield, is in two minds what to do next. So we face the situation. We are faced with certain difficulties. What we should do, we are unaware of. We are not decided. And the issues nearly overwhelms us. So that kind of situation, he says, never give room for this kind of doubt. Never give yourself this kind of insecurity or being undecided. Wherever there is a dharmic path, whatever duty you have to do, fearlessly observe that duty and forget about the results. The results will come. The results you will definitely get. So, whenever there is a situation, we are in two minds whether to go ahead or what we should do. So, this couplet says that fearlessly go ahead. What is right? What is right? It's not just might is right, but what is right, what is dharma, that should be the dharmic path should be followed. Then there is no need for this kind of doubt in one's mind. Courage is one thing which is the highest quality. The greatest quality in man is the courage. In fact, everybody in a situation, if there is a danger is posed to us, everybody would like to run away. But that person is courageous who stays for a minute longer and is able to grapple with what is happening. So this is very, very important. And that is what Swami Vivekananda wanted the youngsters to follow. Tamil Nadu has a great connection with Swami Vivekananda. In fact, in his travel through the length and breadth of the country, he visited Kanyakumari. He came down to Kanyakumari and he was fascinated by the Sangam of the three seas there, the Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea. He was fascinated by that sight and he swam because there the ocean current is very, very strong. He swam across and there was a rock there and he went there and started meditating. Again, meditating for what? For the goodness of the country, for the greatness of the country. And now that to mark that particular event, huge statue of Swami Vivekananda has been installed there, and it's called the Vivekananda Rock Memorial, and his teachings and everything is displayed there. So this is a very important, now this become a center for everybody to visit. People from all over the country visit Kanyakumari, southern tip of our great country, and they make it a point to visit the Vivekananda Rock. And also his trip to Chicago, I even said that it was Annie Besant who again chose Tamil Nadu as her home. And again, the Setupati Ramnad Raja, he was the one who again helped Swami Vivekananda so that he could make that trip. Even that trip itself is a very eventful thing, eventful trip. In fact, it is said that during that trip, he met the great Jamsetji Tata, the great industrialist and also a nationalist. And he told him that we see so much of scientific advancement in other countries. There was the Industrial Revolution, Scientific Revolution in Europe, and so many new inventions were taking place at that time, 18th and 19th century. He said, Indians also have that kind of background. They are very intelligent. The youngsters are so intelligent. So why not give them a platform so that they could harness their intellect for useful purpose to society? And that particular motivation sank with Tata. And lo and behold, when he returned to India, he established, Tataji, he established the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. So that is the story of how IISc was established in Bangalore. So Swami Vivekananda, by his interaction, motivated so many people. In fact, we cannot forget the Vivekananda House in Chennai. It was earlier called Ice House. And during the British time, during the colonies, they manufactured ice in that area, in that building. So it is called Ice House. And one Bashya Mayangar, I think, who bought the place, and it was called Castle Kernan. And he made some place for people to stay, for students to stay, to pursue their education and all that. And Swami Vivekananda, in 1897, he visited this place, stayed for a good 9 days, and every day he used to give a discourse to the people. And at that time, the great Rajagopalachari, who was the first Governor General of independent India, he was a student at that time, and he was staying in that Castle Karnan. And he says that he listened to the lectures of Swami Vivekananda. More than 3,000 people gathered to listen to this young man talking about various issues, talking about our culture, our heritage, and our gory past, our history. So he was so fascinated. He records in his book about his great opportunity he had to listen to Swami Vivekananda during that time. And again, it was during his stay in Chennai that he decided that Ramakrishna mission should be established in memory of his guru, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. A service organization should be established. Now we know how Ramakrishna mission is spread all over the country and also outside the country. And their main objective is to serve people and also education. Education is very, very important. In fact, Swami Vivekananda said, if children cannot go to school, the school should go to the children. So that was his concept. There's no question of denial of education to youth. And only now in 2005 only we got constitutional amendment making primary education compulsory and giving it as a right which every youth should, every child should enjoy. In fact, taking his advice that the education should reach the doorstep of every home, many have started this kind of schools, small schools, where the education can be imparted to people without any cost. There is a movement, single teacher school movement in Tamil Nadu under the Vivekananda Community Development Trust, and they are running single teacher schools in many villages outskirts of Chennai, Tiruvallur district, Kanchipuram district, and also in Coimbatore, Thanjavur, other places, where evening from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, primary education is given to children. Because even now we find in many households, children help the parents in the household duties. Also, they work in the field, assisting them. So in such cases, evening around 5 o'clock, these children assemble in the village. So it's called single teacher movement, because one person in the village, educated person who has completed his schooling, he or she completed the schooling, and she'll be the teacher. In fact, in this movement, most of them are women who are in the village, and about 20 to 30 children assemble there, and they are being imparted the basic education, as they say, the language skill, then arithmetics, and also about our great country. So they are taught about our national leaders. They also sing songs, the patriotic songs, and then they start their education. So what is important is give them the good inputs so that they could grow as a good individual, a good citizen. In fact, in these schools, now there are about 20,000 children are benefited, and 1,500 schools are run in these villages, where children can just assemble there and they can get the education. And in these small schools, even those who go to regular schools, they come there and do their homework, and they have a place where they can share knowledge. It's very, very important. And good practices are imbibed, are taught and get imbibed. So this is one thing. So this again born out of the teachings of Swami Vivekananda. So Vivekananda, one of the greatest sons of India, and his teachings, his talks and his books are ever relevant. They're ever relevant. And he took pride in this country. What is now important is we should take pride in our roots. We should take pride in what we are. And at the same time, include everybody in this growth. The people talk of inclusive growth. And that is what Swami Vivekananda said. He said there should not be any barrier, no religion, no religious barrier, no caste barrier, no other barrier, rich or poor, but everybody should enjoy their freedom, should enjoy their youth, should enjoy their life, and they should also contribute to society. And our own constitution makers, subsequently, they have added Section 51A, Article 51A of the Constitution, which enumerates the duties of a citizen. It's very, very important. And the most important thing in that is the concept given by Swami Vivekananda. Every Indian should conduct himself in a way, in a manner that enhances the prestige of this country. So we should make this country very great, and for that, every Indian should contribute. Now let us remember Swami Vivekananda, his teachings every day, and look at ourselves in the mirror at the end of the day, whether we have done goodness to society, whether we have appreciated goodness, what is happening in society, whether we have supported good people who are spreading goodness in society. So may God speed in all our endeavors, and let the youth of the country lead the country to greatness. Namaskaram.